Once upon a time, in a village, there lived a very beautiful girl called Machi. Her beauty was like that of the morning sun. She had long, beautiful legs, dark skin, and long black hair. She lived with her father in a small hut. As Machi grew, she attracted the attention of both young and old. She would smile everywhere she went. When Machi turned 14, she got to know about the goddess called Annie. She heard of the good things she does for people. So she made a promise to herself to work in the temple of Annie. She told her father, who said that every servant of Annie must be very pure and must remain undefiled. Machi agreed and kept herself for the day that she would work in the temple of the goddess. Before the age of 18, most of Machi's friends had been defiled, and they even encouraged her to do the same so that she would enjoy maximum pleasure. But the goal that Machi had would be jeopardized if she did. When Machi turned 18, she couldn't be happier. She told her father, who took her to the temple where the goddess welcomed her. She cleansed her and assigned her duties to her. From that day, Machi was known as the servant of Annie. Because of the presence of Machi, Annie had many worshippers who came to the temple, and majority of them came solely for the purpose to see Machi and admire her beauty. This didn't sit well with the goddess. She was considered the most beautiful in the land, and this mortal was taking her place, but she did nothing, since they were coming only to admire her and also brought their offerings too. Annie, a very beautiful goddess, was not interested in any of these mortal men. So she allowed her servants to take advantage of them, but they must not defile her. Annie had a likeness to the demigod AMADIOHA. He was very strong and was quick to action. She had made it known to him, but he rejected her. But this did not stop her from trying to get his attention. She would regularly send gifts of foodstuffs and livestock to him to show her love, but he would not replicate her feelings. One sunny day, Annie gave a fruit basket to Machi to take to the temple of AMADIOHA. Machi arrived there. She kept the fruit basket and was about to leave when she heard a voice ordering her to stop. She stopped in her tracks and turned back, only to come face to face with the demigod AMADIOHA. She immediately knelt down with her head bowed in greetings. "Stand up," he said. She shook her head. She had never seen anyone who came face to face with AMADIOHA, and she heard that the only man who saw him ran mad and died after a few days. She didn't want such fate for herself. He stretched out his hands, hoping for her to take them, but she said, "I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I do not want to go mad." His face contorted in anger. "Mad? And why would she go mad just from looking at me?" he said to himself. "No one is going mad." So she slowly raised her head to see him. She could not believe that she had seen him. If she told anyone, they would never believe her. Then she said, "The gifts are from the goddess Annie. I didn't mean to disturb you at this hour." AMADIOHA put his hand under her jaw to take a good look at her face. He stared deep into her eyes as if he wanted to look into her soul. "Who is this mortal that had captured my attention? I have never seen one with so much beauty and innocence," he said within himself. As he stared at her, goosebumps filled her body because she was shivering like a leaf in the storm. Why is she so scared? Well, not everyone had the opportunity to see me, he said within himself again. Suddenly she fainted, and luckily he caught her before she reached the ground. Machi woke up the next morning on her bed with a slight headache. She asked her father of how she got home and he told her of how a man he had never seen before brought her home. He said that you were sick. Machi still had not remembered the previous day's event, and after several minutes of thinking, she gasped. I remember. She explained everything to her father of how she met with the demigod, but her father just laughed. No one had ever seen him, my child, and the only man who did ran mad. I am sure you know that story well, her father said. Machi tried to convince him that she saw the demigod, but he told her that it was her imagination, or maybe it was a dream. Machi continued to work in Annie's temple, and oftentimes she would send Machi to deliver gifts to AMADIOHA. She had to go because she could never disobey her goddess. All this time she went there, she would often feel someone's eyes on her, and when she looked around, she never saw anyone. AMADIOHA would make himself invincible just to see the woman who had captured his heart. He could not go past his territory, so he would not alert Annie. She would feel his presence, and he didn't want that. No human had ever caught his attention the way Machi did. He would go to her room at night and watch her sleep peacefully. A young man called Ekene had always loved Machi. He hoped that one day he would be able to convince her to leave Annie's temple and be with him. He would go to Machi's father's hut with firewood and some crops he had harvested from his farm. Slowly, he and Machi became friends, but Machi declined his offer of being his wife, but they still maintained friendship. Annie was still hoping to have AMADIOHA's attention to herself, so one day she went to his temple with her usual gift basket. She tried to make her presence known, but the demigod was in no mood to see her. She knew that he knew that she was there. She called and called, but she did not dare enter his abode. She went back to her temple with the demigod in her mind. On one of the days when Machi took the gift basket to AMADIOHA, as she was about to leave, she saw him come in front of her. He grabbed her and went into his abode. The look in his eyes was that of lust as he stared down at her. He was haunted by her face day and night. He could not get her off his mind. He wanted to defy her, but he knew she would never forgive him, even if he was a demigod. Stay with me, Machi, and I will love and care for you. Machi was filled with shock. Then she asked, who am I to find favor in the eyes of the gods? You are Machi, a beautiful, respectful young woman, he said. Machi wanted to decline, but she didn't know how. Say what's on your mind, Mma, he said. I have vowed to serve Annie with my youth. Go, talk to her and come back for me, AMADIOHA said. AMADIOHA didn't give her any chance to think about it. She must say that she was enchanted by how mysterious he was. She smiled as she remembered the moment they shared. As she got to the temple, she saw Annie so angry. She had never seen her like this. What happened to her? She asked herself. You! How dare you talk to him? He is mine. Mine! For this I curse you this day. No man shall ever behold your face. You would never appeal to any man, ever. Immediately, Machi fell down crying and scratching all over her body. And as she said that, everywhere turned dark. Apparently, Annie had been watching her movement from her temple, and then she saw Mma and AMADIOHA from her mirror. Not long after, lightning struck. The villagers were confused. AMADIOHA came and took Machi away. He knew the only place where the curse would be broken. but only Annie had the keys to it. Machi would cry day and night about her fate. She never knew Annie loved Amadioha. With the darkness, crops began to wither and water sources began to dry up, and so was Annie's power. She was losing her powers as a goddess. Chukwu, her father, called her and told her to go and rediscover herself, and upon doing so, she discovered it wasn't the fault of Umachi, and that she made a major decision in the moment of anger. She opened the ancient well where Umachi took a bath, and she was healed. She was free to follow her heart, and Umachi and Amadioha became husband and wife, doing justice to humankind. The moral of this short story is, we should be able to let go when our destiny don't align with something. We shouldn't make major or even minor decisions in moments of anger. We might never be able to make amends. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share. See you in the next one. Bye.